Checking the audio for YouTube. Hey, 1, 2.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Common Council meeting for City of Delafield on Monday, March 17th, 2025 at 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call, please, Crystal.
Okay, Alderperson Henry.
Here.
Alderperson Schaefer.
Here.
Alderperson Valdy.
Here.
Alderperson Wilkin.
Here.
Alderperson Grimmer.
Here.
Alderperson Price.
Here.
Mayor Eicher.
Present.
And Administrator Hafner.
Here.
And excused Alderperson Burke.
Okay, thank you. Next item up is minutes. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes from March 3rd.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion or changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay, minutes are passed. Item 5, City of Delafield citizens' comments for anything on the agenda or off. Yes, Mary.
Good evening, everyone. It's Mary Daniel of the McCartan clan, who lives here in Delafield at 309 Wisconsin Avenue. This evening, I'd like to talk about an agenda item which is under your Plan Commission, which is the 805 Wall Street Condo Landscaping Plan. It's your B&C. So reports from Amy Barrows, our city planner, indicates several revisions of the landscaping plans presented by the developer in February and March meetings of the Plan Commission and Public Works, and now this evening, Common Council. In the February 26th Plan Commission report, there were 16 trees, they said, that would remain, and 10 trees and 84 shrubs to be planted, as well as a mix of grasses and perennials. In your March 17th report by the developer is now removing 12 trees, 3 black locust, 1 white birch, 5 white pine, 1 spruce, 1 honey locust, and 1 white oak for various reasons, and 10 trees will be planted and 101 shrubs planted, as well as a mix of grasses and perennials. Landscape plans that get presented with revisions worry me. I hope that the due diligence is being done by the developer for the best use of this land and preserving all the existing trees. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Any other citizens wish to speak? Yes.
Good evening. Joanne Genetti Teeple from Genetti Gardens, adjacent to 805 Wells. I have a number of issues with the landscape design that was amended on 3/9. Please be patient with me. The first is the northeast corner, showing a 36-foot fence line with grasses planted in front. I'd like to know if this is the fence going in front of Thompson's fence that already exists with huge junipers in front of it, or if this is some other area, but from the landscape design, it shows that it's right in front of her fence, which would make just ridiculous for a fence to go in front of a fence with trees. The open area on the property line of Unit 4, is that all grass? It's just this major open area. It shows area for the homeowner to add plants. My gardens go along this whole area. And right now, as it stands, it's showing that I have blacktop and the sides of 2 buildings. One building, Unit 4, shows that I have dogwoods and boxwoods. Okay, the magic line on the dogwoods is that they're 5 feet high, and they're deciduous. They lose their leaves, so I'm going to have some little evergreens and some bare stems all winter. Nothing is shown on the end of Unit 5 on the east side. Are there utilities on that building wall that I'm going to be looking at? On the same thing on Unit 4, am I going to be looking at utilities on those walls, on those buildings? I'm still concerned about the sewage, the drainage, the storm sewer. It shows on the drawings and everything, but I'm concerned about all the salt runoff when they start plowing. Where is that going? And I mean, they just show certain spots where this is going to be for the sewage. I don't see it. I'm just going to play dumb on this. I don't understand where all that water is going to go, because it's just a massive tunnel of blacktop coming down. Where are the snow removal piles going? Are they going in the parking stalls, or where are they going on the plans? It does not show where all this snow, except that they said in the revisions that there would be room for the snow piles. Nighttime events in my gardens. Right now, as it stands, I've got 3 parking spaces and all the cars pulling in, looking right into my gardens. I'll have lights. I'll have headlights interrupting everything. I have night weddings. I have parties that I go through. I don't need a bunch of headlights coming in. I'd like a copy of the arborist report on saving the beech tree. I don't know if that's possible, but I would like to see it. The northwest corner of the property shows using burning bush, which is euonymus, which has been declared invasive in Wisconsin 2 years ago. I would like to suggest they use something else in that area and not that shrub. And basically, I'm just trying to understand the whole design, because my gardens have been there for 8 years now. And throughout this whole process, and numerous times I've been told by both the builder, the landscaper, the owner, that I would have a row of evergreens blocking all of these buildings so that I would not have a backdrop of 2 units and a blacktop driveway. So I'm just curious on where that stands. There are 3 junipers. There is a skyrocket juniper that gets 15 feet high, 2 to 3 feet wide. There's Blue Arrow, same thing. There's a junior green giant that gets 15 to 20 feet high, but only 3 to 5 feet wide. All of them are deer resistant. All of them are buck rub resistant, which is a huge thing, because I have trees that I have to guard because of buck rub. And all I ask is that all of this be considered before any final approval on this landscape, because my gardens are going to be destroyed. I can't show people what they should see in their yard if I'm looking at nothing but buildings with utilities. And I just, I don't understand, because it was changed. It's been changed 3 times now. And I've always been told by everybody that I would have these evergreens or some screening. And 2-foot-high boxwood and 3-foot-high dogwoods is not going to do it. So that's all I ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you. Any other citizens wish to speak during citizens' comments? Okay, seeing none, citizens' comments are now closed. So we'll go to item number 6, special order of business. Phil Cosen, please come up with Ellers and Associates.
Good evening. Nice to be back with you. Phil Costin with Ellers, here to tackle 2 different things, but primarily it's to finance your 2025 capital expenditures that you've included in your budget process. So I have 2 documents. Both were sent out in advance. One is that I'm going to spend a little bit of time on is the pre-sale report that we prepared that really kind of lays out the structure of the deal, and it really ties back to how this fits within your current financial position. Then the second, prepared by the city's bond attorney, Hush Blackwell, is a parameters resolution. I'll touch on that as well, as they both kind of play off of each other. So as I indicated right away, this is the 2025 capital borrowing. You typically annually do a capital borrowing to finance your your major capital items that don't fit within your current budget structure. So think of streets, parks, those kind of things, fire equipment that we'll be financing as part of this. What is similar to what you've done in the past is this will be a 10-year note. So you do pay back, the city has had a history of paying back your debt pretty rapidly. 10-year notes gets everything paid up pretty quick. Some communities, for tax reasons and for impact reasons, may stretch this out 15, 20 years. Your history has been 10 years, so you've been aggressive in your payback. Also, this is an issue which is very similar, and we tried to structure this to mitigate the impact to the taxpayers as much as possible. So we try to fit this within your current debt structure, and I'll show you that in a little bit as well. So I'll touch on the other items in the pre-sale report as I go through this. If you have questions, feel free to interrupt me, and/or we can handle those on the back end. The notes, we have a specific finance plan, and in that finance plan, you'll see that we have all the capital items laid out that will be financed. But on page 1, the executive summary of our pre-sale report, we've summarized these in kind of larger categories. Now, again, this will finance street projects, public works equipment, police equipment, your contribution to the Lake Country Fire capital. And in this case, for this issue, all of the debt service is really being paid for through ad valorem property tax, meaning you don't have other offsetting revenues to pay this, like TIF revenue or revenue from water, sewer, those kind of things. So all of it will be levied dollars. This will be a general obligation note. The note allows you flexibility in using the funds for any public purpose. You've listed the items from your capital list that have been approved, but if a cost comes in less on the streets and more for the fire equipment, you can move the money between those purposes without any obstacles. Under the authority, you'll see that right now, with this issue included, you'll have about $14 million of outstanding debt. That's principal and interest. And the remaining general obligation borrowing capacity for the city is $107 million. So you have a lot of capacity going forward. It's always easy to borrow money. It's hard to pay it back, right? That's like a home mortgage or anything else. This will have a typical term of 10 years, but we'll have a prepayment option that will be in year 7. That's really kind of customary in the financial industry. This will be bank qualified, meaning that banks that bid on these will have some special treatment for their tax purposes, because this is tax exempt debt, and it opens the market up a little bit broader. And being bank qualified just means you don't issue more than $10 million in any calendar year. So you're going to fit within that. Anytime we go through
Phil?
a debt issue, yes.
Is that a
Tom?
typo in the report? It says that it won't be bank qualified. It must be a typo, right?
It's a typo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we prepared this, there was a thought something was happening with Delafield, which I don't think is. Is that correct? I'm looking over at the, but we'll.
I'm not sure, but Delhart's totally separate from us.
Yeah, but if you issue debt through Delafield, sometimes it is issued on, and you have a proportionate share of that debt issue that has to be paid back through the sewer utility, I get it.
Yeah.
And that could be a tax exempt debt as well, but it may be a typo, I'll check on that.
Okay.
The resolution, I'll check as we go through this. Oh, there we go. The method of sale is what we have always done, and the method of sale here will be a competitive basis. We'll open it up to all different banks, underwriters, not just locally, state, regionally, but nationally as well. Cities rated AA2. We will go through the rating process as we always do. Moody's Investor Services currently has your rating, so we'll have a conference call in regards to this issue, but it not only affects this issue, it affects all the outstanding issues as well. I don't see any reason the AA2 wouldn't be retained as we go through that process. the last number of years, we have issued what are called parameter sales, and we're going to be looking at doing that again this year. So parameters resolution and a parameter sale, what that really entails is that we pick a date outside of your normal council meeting nights to issue the debt. And we tend to pick either a Wednesday or Thursday. Most municipalities meet on Mondays and Tuesdays, so you compete against everyone in the marketplace. And if it's a specific date, a council meeting action, then we're tied to that date. And if we move it, we need to come back and have the debt reauthorized. By selecting a parameters date, we can move the date at any time for any reason, including financial reasons, which is primarily why we would move or delay action on a sale. Stock market's been a little crazy these days, bond market the same. And we expect some turmoil over the next couple of months still. So if we see a wild fluctuation in the markets, we can just pull the sale back a week, a day, whatever, and kind of retrench and move forward with a different date that is going to be better for the city. So this gives us the flexibility to move the sale date as need be. So the parameter sale also, the resolution has the established parameters that have to be met to be approved. And we've listed those on the top of page 3 in the pre-sale report. And what they are is not to issue anything more than $1,765,000. That's what the resolution is tonight. We have some minimum and maximum bid options. That's really for kind of the bidders on the bonds to provide them some flexibility in how they structure the debt. We have a maximum true interest cost at 4.75%. I'd expect this to be closer to around 3.25%, 3.5% in today's market. But again, we have that established. So if it exceeds that, it's rejected and we start over. And we have the ability to move maturities around up to $50,000 per maturity. That gets to the issue of flexibility and how these different banks and underwriters submit bids. So we're trying to provide some guidelines for the city and how you issue the debt, but also some flexibility for the bidders to attract more bidders that would come into the market and bid on this issue. So what we've established here for the dates are on page number 5, top of the page. Again, tonight is the pre-sale. It's giving us authorization to proceed. And what that really entails, and as we communicate with Moody's Investor Services, set up a rating call, which we have already just in advance, but we could always cancel that. It gives us authorization to really proceed with the preparation of the official statement, which is like a prospectus on the city, and really start down the process of issuing the debt. So tonight gives us authorization. March 31st right now is scheduled to have a call with Moody's Investor Service, their rating call. We'll distribute the final official statement April 7th. We have identified April 17th as the date of the parameter sale. Again, that could move, but that's the date we have chosen at this time. And then right now we have an estimated close of May 8th. And that May 8th date is when the funds are all wired to the city and you have access at that point to reimburse yourself for past expenses and or have funds available for capital projects. We have a series of tables in here. I wasn't going to spend a lot of time walking through each one, but it's how we get to the sizing. Table number 1, again, gets to the amount that is going to be issued, $1,765,000. Table 2 is currently where you're at, meaning your base case is what we call it. This is where you are financially from a debt perspective prior to this issue being undertaken. And you can see that you have existing obligations being paid back with different revenue sources to get to a levy amount. And that levy amount is what we try to drill down to on an average home size on table number 2. Table 3 is the allocation of debt service for the 2025 notes. If you recall what I said, we had a 475 not to exceed true interest costs. If you look at Table 3 and the interest rate, I know it's a little hard to see in the screen, you can see we're closer to that 3.25%, 3.5%. That's where we expect you're going to end up with this issue at this time. Table 4 is looking at your existing obligations and then adding back in this new issue to get to that tax rate for debt service that is levied, and then what that cost is to the average home price in the city of Delafield. And so we're trying to drive it down to a very understandable number of what your debt service costs the average homeowner in the city, and what this issue will cost as well, so that you have that information available to you if anybody ever inquires. And then Table 5 is your borrowing capacity. I mentioned you have a lot of capacity remaining. With this issue, you'll be at 11% of your general obligation borrow capacity used, meaning you have a lot of flexibility in the future to take on additional projects if need be. And the last chart is a 3-year trend in what's happened in the municipal bond market. And over the last, I would say, 2 to 3 months, while there's been some fluctuations, it's been relatively flat. We saw a little correction about 2 or 3 weeks ago. That has gone by the wayside, but we did have 2 bond sale or 2 general obligation note sales earlier today for other communities similar rated, and they ended up in that range that I talked about with quite a few bidders set up. So market is strong. You have a strong rating, a great name recognition, and I know the general obligation note issue would do very well in the marketplace. The resolution, as I indicated, was prepared by Hush Blackwell, which is the city's attorney. And what they have put together is the resolution that spells out the parameters that I laid out earlier. So really what they're doing in this resolution is saying, you give us authorization to proceed. These are the parameters that have been laid out for this issue, all in this about 8-page, 9-page resolution that they have prepared. But they have included our information in here as well for your information. So tonight is really giving us permission to move forward with this issue as we've done in the past. And then again, once the sale occurs, we'll prepare a sale day resolution that'll be provided to all of you council members once the issue is completed.
Phil, quick question. You indicated our bond rating is consistently AA2 out of consideration of our property mix, et cetera. We don't have we don't have industry, et cetera. Just out of curiosity, what would be our bond, what would be the difference in rates if we were AAA? Are we talking 25 basis points or
Yeah,
50 or
we tend to say
speculating? I know you're speculating.
Yeah, it tends to be about 5 to 10 basis points for every rating grade. So, as a for instance, if just say you get a bond rating, you keep your bond rating at AA2, we would expect that true interest cost to be about 3.25%. If you're AAA, it might be like 3.15.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that significant. It's significant when you look at all of your debt. But you're right. There's about 15 to 20 factors. Size of community is one, diversity is another. But the amount of debt you have outstanding, your fund balance, your wealth indices, there's a variety. The other taxing bodies, how much debt they have outstanding as well is part of it. So there's a lot of criteria. But I think what holds the city back is just size and diversity of tax base. You're somewhat of a bedroom community. You know, while there's merits to that, you know, the mix isn't quite there to probably warrant an upgrade at this time.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Phil? Otherwise, looking for a motion to move ahead.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-01.
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? All right,
Mayor,
Motion passes.
it is asking for a roll call on this
Oh,
one.
let's do a roll call then.
Okay. Okay.
I heard yeses.
Henry,
Aye.
Schaefer,
Aye.
Valdi,
Aye.
Wilkin,
Aye.
Price,
Aye.
Grimmer.
Aye.
Okay. And I think that's, right. You got
Good.
everybody?
Yep. All right,
Oh.
motion passes.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks, Phil.
Happy St.
Thanks,
Patrick's
Phil.
Day.
Item 7, consent agenda. There are no items on our consent agenda, so moving on to item 8, boards, committees, and commission reports. Licenses? Is there anything for licenses, Molly?
Nope, nothing for license.
All right. Plan Commission, Alderman Grimmer.
Yeah, we got a couple items on the agenda tonight. First one is Bubbles. Bubbles Car Wash, Munger Holdings LLC. This is at the former location of the Hardys. Plan Commission's been working on this for a few months now. I would draw your attention to, within the packet, this property sits in the wellhead protection area. Obviously trying to protect our beautiful lake. Was a significant area of discussion by Plan Commission. That wellhead protection area prohibits certain practices that might threaten our wonderful lake.
Drinking water is the name.
And drinking water, absolutely. So the Bubbles Car Wash and the Plan Commission, they are using eco-friendly car wash products. They have a spill containment plan. And they are constructing a basement so that the release of chemicals is fully stored and cannot spill onto the ground. So I will make a motion to approve DELC 0803999, Munger Holdings, Lake Country Capital, Bubbles Foam Farm, approving the conditional use site plan and appearance to develop a car wash contingent on final staff review for any necessary updates or corrections.
Second.
Is there any discussion or questions? Applicants here, if we have any for them directly. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, motion passes. Thanks, Bubbles. If you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting, you're welcome. Or there's some pubs open nearby.
The second is 805 Wells Street. We have 4 motions tonight for consideration. Conditional use, developers agreement, stormwater maintenance, and plots. The first item, I know there were some public comments on this. I'm going to just, and the applicants are here. Do you guys want to state your names for the record?
Yep, I'm Dan Eckerman with Ware Design Build. I'd like to address Joanne's comments on the landscaping. She's 100% correct. We had trees at the end of along her property line, and every single change that's been done to the landscaping drawings has been directed by Plan Commission. We've gone back and forth numerous times with them. I'm totally okay sitting down with Joanne or having her giving us a list of what trees she'd like where or what she'd want, and we can adjust it. I have no issue with that at all, as long as Plan Commission's going to be okay with it.
I have a question. Why would Plan Commission not want, why would they change it?
We had trees there. They wanted a fence there. They made us remove the fence. They made us put trees back. It's just, Tyler probably knows it better than I do, the
Yeah,
different details.
I'm just very curious because I know that
Yeah, it's just
it's
changed.
disconcerting.
It just has been the different months we've come back for revisions. I'm not quite sure what dictated the changes, but like initially they wanted the crosswalk and the fence, and then the next month we came back, no crosswalk, no fence, put the shrubs back, so.
Are you conflating Public Works and Plan Commission?
Could be, we could be.
Well, these were, I guess, brought to
'Cause
us by planning.
I would struggle to find a meeting where we eliminated trees in the plan commission.
I would concur with that.
I can tell you that we didn't discuss that at Public Works, though.
I think the only discussion that I recall is the tree remediation plan. I don't have a dollar amount per caliper inch of what you're taking
250.
down. And no, I know what the cost is, but I don't know the aggregate of what you're taking down versus what you're putting up and what that developer's cost, what your pay-in is to the tree fund.
Right. I don't know what it is either. I know that they've sent it to us.
Let me inquire just on a couple of the other comments. The 36-foot fence line and a comment on two fences. My
100% agree with that.
my understanding is that if the property owner wants to take down their fence and just look at yours, that would be the reasonable solution, and they're under no obligation to keep their fence, or?
There's a fence along the north side there, or our north side, that's coming down, that's in very, very poor condition. I'm not sure what that fence is at the northwest or northeast corner, what kind of condition that's in. I agree, if there's a good fence there, I would agree, we shouldn't be putting one in. Again, directed by somewhere, told us to put a fence there.
It started with, they wanted a fence along that parking stalls on the the northeast side. And then at the last meeting, they asked us to push that fence back. I do believe the landscape designer pushed it back further than the intent of the plan commission, but the idea was to back it off the parking stalls a bit.
According to Amy Barrows, they also have, there is room for snow storage. I know DPW moved you from 12 parking spaces to 9.
Yep.
Thereby increasing green space. And according to Barrows' report, there is room for snow storage. Do you have any concerns or issues regarding that?
None at all.
No. One other thing to address, this whole parking lot and road is curb and gutter. To address the comments of the runoff onto her property, it's all contained with curb and gutter.
Everything is. There's storm sewer around the perimeter. We've got underground storm sewer around each of the buildings that the downspouts are tying into.
Great. And then I know there was consideration on Plan Commission to save the beech tree.
Yep, we have the arborist report, which we just received last week. We have emailed that to Jackie, and I believe it's been uploaded to the city's portal, yeah.
Great, thank you. And then I can't comment on whether the burning bush is an invasive species or not. I'll accept the.
And I can tell you that Tyler and I have no clue.
Okay.
So we'd have to listen. If Joanne's got comments on that, we're open to them.
Okay.
I appreciate your willingness to work with, especially our neighbor who's a landscape expert and a plant expert, as to what makes sense going in there, probably the best for your future homeowners.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
They're going to want, healthy species that are vibrant and not invasive species, and
So do we.
yeah, of course. And I know, talking to my neighbors in the district, they're very excited and appreciative of the fact that y'all have been really working so well with the neighbors.
Yep.
And that's, the way it always should be. It isn't always, so thank you. And if we can clear up the mystery of the double fencing and the change of plants, I know you have my email, because I appreciated you sent the beech tree, save the beech tree information. And if we can just keep discussing it before anything gets actually planted in the ground, that would be wonderful, because it'll be a great addition to our district.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I believe the intent too of this motion is to leave it open to final staff approval and necessary changes if there's found to be any, and that would be mitigating the issues that Joanne has with headlight spray is a huge problem, and we need to make sure that she's not experiencing that. So however we can mitigate that with the appropriate plannings is going to be part of that.
Okay.
And the same goes for the mechanicals, you know, on the side of the building. If there's air conditioning units or something other than the metal. I mean, if there's fencing or something that would be used in the final application of those.
Okay.
Just looking forward, looking ahead to something we would have forgotten.
Yep.
That ends up being a point of contention that we don't, you know, good fences make good neighbors.
Yep.
I don't think that, from a construction standpoint, it would make sense for us to locate the mechanicals to those buildings at that specific facade of the building.
That's fine. Sometimes though, I'm just, you know, during construction, someone gets a great idea. It happened when I built my house. It was my AC units are by my kid's playset.
Really?
Not where I put them, but.
It's because you didn't use us.
I'll make a motion to approve the conditional use for DEL CO 798075 and DEL CO 798066 805 Wells Street, site plan and appearance approval to allow the development of a 6-unit multifamily condo development with 3 buildings, 2 units per building in accordance with the conditional use agreement in the meeting packet, contingent upon final staff review for any necessary updates or corrections based on our conversation tonight.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Or abstentions? Okay, that one's passed. We have a conditional use agreement.
Next is same property in question, approval of the condo plat and related declaration, DEL. I'll make a motion to approve DEL CO 798075, DEL CO 798066 002, 805 Wells Street, and adjacent lands to the east. Approval of the condominium plat and related declarations, restrictions and bylaws to allow the development of a 6-unit multifamily condo development contingent upon final staff review for any necessary updates or corrections.
I'll second. I think.
Who had it, Henry? All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay. That passed.
Developers agreement is next on the same aforementioned property. I'll make a motion to approve the developers agreement for DEL CO 798075 and DEL CO 798066 002, 805 Wells Street to allow the development of a 6-unit multifamily condo development in accordance with the agreement in the meeting packet, contingent upon final staff review for any necessary updates or corrections.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Or abstentions? Okay, approved.
And then the last piece for this development, I'll make a motion to approve DEL CO 798075 and DEL CO 798066 002, 805 Wells Street and adjacent lands. Approval of the stormwater maintenance agreement, contingent upon final staff review for any necessary updates or corrections in accordance with the agreement in the meeting packet.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Or abstentions? Okay, thank you. That passes as well. All right.
Thank you, everyone.
Work with staff diligently, please.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else for Plan Commission?
No.
Okay, Lake Welfare Committee.
Yeah, Lake Welfare met on March 12th. You probably have the packet somewhere in your agenda, but there are 2 things I'd like to bring out of that meeting. One was a discussion again on land use ordinance for impervious surfaces. This came out of Lake Welfare several times now. The original one from 3 years ago, half of that was passed and half of it was kind of put on the side. That second half, Lake Welfare is asked to bring that back again. Amy Barrows did quite a bit of work on this, and We made a change at Lake Welfare from what Amy put together. She had pretty much followed what the state and county was doing for non-city areas for an impervious surface of only 30%, which is a very small amount for impervious surface, and we felt it probably wouldn't be workable in a lot of our smaller lots. So we moved that up to 60%, which we didn't think there'd be any issue whatsoever. And again, the main reason for this is to protect larger lots from being just covered over in concrete. So at least 40% of a large lot then would have more good green space and impervious surfaces. So that'll be, it was sent to the Plan Commission. I think they met last night or whatever, so I'm not sure where that ended up with. The second thing, I was asked to go to the Clean Waters Board meeting, which was held on Oconomowoc Lake a week and a half ago. It was a very interesting meeting. We had representatives from all the area lakes. Everybody shared what their issues were, their top 5 issues. Most of the lakes were quite similar. The number one on almost every single lake was the issue on lakeboard boats. So that was something that's always going to be out there. But one thing that came out through many of the lakes, which was pretty good timing, was the use of water aerators. Water aerators on the lake are very, very common during the summertime to, keep the mud flowing, and in the channels there must be 100 of them. You push it towards your neighbor pushes it back, but basically it keeps it moving, so it has a better chance of it breaking down during the summer and winter. But what came up as an issue, and was very, very timely, was the use of these aerators in the wintertime. If you recall, there was an individual who went through the ice on Pewaukee in middle of January, and he was coming around an ice flow, and at the side of that ice flow, the ice was 17 inches thick. He came around there about 75 yards from shore and hit 1.5 inches to 2 inches. His vehicle went straight through. It wasn't a car, it was an ATV type of vehicle, and he went right to the bottom and drowned. The sole reason for his drowning and death was the use of an aerator. The aerator was pushing out straight out onto the lake, and people don't realize the amount of power that the aerators have. And even by DNR lands, DNR rules, you're supposed to have it marked with signs and flashing lights and all sorts of stuff. But these things are so powerful. This was 75 yards out into the lake, and the ice will start forming over it, but it forms such a narrow bite of ice, and then you put a little bit of snow on top. It's just a disaster waiting to happen, and then it did. The person went right through it. There was no warning, and we have some areas right by the old 7 Seas where that whole bay is open. People are using these to protect these expensive piers that they're putting in that are supposed to be a permanent pier, but that's the most ridiculous thing possible, because that's fine. You don't have any issue when it freezes in. Your issue comes from moving ice. So those aerators have no impact whatsoever ever of stopping moving ice. So we plan on, after doing some research during the next month, coming back to the council with an issue that we would stop the use of aerators in the wintertime. We don't have any issues during the summer, but they figure there is such a danger to the lake, we would like to protect the residents of our area. So I'll be talking with Tom to get a recap on what we can do, what we can't do. But the fact that each lake in the area has its own rules relative to driving on the lake, we figured the same rules would apply for the use of aerators. So we don't want anybody else to die.
Just out of curiosity, are there environmental impacts to the health of the lake with aerators that you're aware of? I mean, that it seems like you're creating a fairly powerful current, and I guess there's nothing harmful about a current in water.
Yeah.
But just
DNR has not mentioned any of that, but there's supposed to be rules. Well, like in this situation, there was no warnings whatsoever. There was nothing. But even if you put something right at the end of your pier, if these things are going out 80 feet, the warning that you'd have on your pier wouldn't help at all. So
Yeah, we'll want to coordinate efforts. I know that Tom and I and Chief Landon had a conversation regarding vehicles on the lake in general.
Yeah.
And there's a permitting, like, you're not supposed to have a motorized vehicle on the lake at all without a permit from the chief.
Yeah.
Clearly, that's not always followed, but we'll want to sync up how, if or how a new rule would be necessary and
Yeah.
how we should change the other one. So
Oh.
let's put them together so we're not going two different directions at the same time.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, that's all I have.
Paul, are we making a distinction between aerators and circulators? I know some people use a circulator, where it's basically just a prop under the water, keeps the water moving, versus an aerator, which I would call something that's introducing air bubbles to keep the,
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. As far as the definition, I think most people consider the ones that have the prop that pushes the water, that's considered an aerator as well. Some of the aerators are bubble units, they go straight up. Those have less of an impact. Most of the people, like on the lake right now, have an aerator that has a big prop on it.
Yeah.
And that blows the water way out. Those are ones that are the problems.
okay.
Well, looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for lake welfare?
Nope.
Okay, Park and Recreation Commission, Tree Board.
No meeting, no report. Our next meeting is a week from tonight.
Okay, Public Works Committee.
Public Works Committee met on March 5th. We have an attachment to the agenda tonight to approve the street improvement plan. We got 4 bids. Wolf Paving, one of the very responsive bidders in the area, came in with a low bid of $659,886.40. With the contingency and the engineering and construction management, total expense to the city would be $826,280.72, and that compares against our budget of $900,000. So we're considerably under budget. I would move that we approve the contract to Wolf Paving for the street improvement plan for 2025.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Other than under budget's always good? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, or abstentions? Okay, let's get a contract out there. Anything else for Public Works?
That's all for this month.
Okay, F, Delhart Commission, that's me. Our next meeting's tomorrow. I'll get a report for our next meeting. Police Commission.
No meeting, no report. I'm getting lonely.
Yeah. All right, Library Board.
We've not met since our last meeting, so.
Okay, Director's report is in the packet. Zoning Board of Appeals. No meeting again. Okay, Promotional and Tourism Commission.
We met last week, and it was the meeting was held last Tuesday morning, and we had our first meeting with our new director, Jory. Went very well. A lot of nuts and bolts. You can check the city's webpage for the draft minutes. Just a couple things, like our visitor's guide is being updated, and they were actually able, with a little bit of snow that we had, they were actually able to get some winter visit Delafield shots, making it look like it was really snowy in places. It was pretty cool. So we're very excited to have Jory on board, and I'm sure she'll come and visit soon.
Very good.
That's it.
Okay, Lake Country Fire and Rescue Commission. I don't believe there was a meeting. Lake Country Fire and Rescue Board.
No meeting, no report.
Okay, other commissions, committees, reports? None. Mayor's report. I am forced to accept the resignation of Brad Stocks from the Citizen Member Commission, a position on the Police Commission. He's been a steady hand at the wheel for a number of years, and he'll be truly missed. He's just decided it's time to put his feet up a little more than he has. He doesn't want to, but that's what he's going to do. So I'm looking for a motion to accept his resignation from the Police Commission.
So moved.
I'll so move, and sorry, it will be a loss. He's wonderful to work with, and his sense of his history and knowledge is pretty valuable to the city.
Agreed.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, or abstentions? Okay. Looking also, he was on our Lake Country Fire and Rescue Commission as well, so looking for a motion to accept his resignation from there. Again, he represented the city very, very well and has a lot of respect from our fire fighters as well.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay, thank you, Brad. And you'll see candidates for replacement in our organizational meeting in April. And oddly, for recognition for City of Delafield employees, we've got a couple people that are just two that have been here for a year. So we'll wait till they've been here longer. But March isn't a good time to get a job here, apparently. But April, there's a lot. So with that, we'll go on to new business, discussion of possible action regarding request from the Delafield Arts Foundation to waive the event permit fees for $50 per event for the 7 events in the 2025 Summer Concert Series. I don't have more information on that.
I'll move to approve the, if you have more.
No, I'm saying someone's here anxiously waiting.
Pat is here, yeah.
We have answers if there are questions, okay. I'll move to approve the waiver of event permit fees for the 7.
And
summer
I'll happily
Liberty Park
second that motion.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, or abstentions? Okay. Thank you. Looking forward to another successful year. Discussion and possible action to approve a settlement agreement between Walmart and the City of Delafield to resolve excess property tax assessment claims for 2021, 2, 3, and 4 tax assessments. Tom is rustling papers, so I'll turn it over to him.
Yes, this is a suit that goes back 4 years, covers tax years 2021 through 2024. And from the beginning, the city had assessments on the property for those years that ranged from about $12.5 to $14 million for each of those years. And Walmart, their claim indicated that they felt their property was only worth somewhere ranging from $3.5 to $5.2 million. So there was a significant difference. We were required to enter into mediation with them, court-ordered mediation. The mayor and I participated in that, along with our city assessor and our attorney that represented us. After not too long, it became clear that the city wasn't going to budge much, and we ultimately agreed to terms that we would lower each of their annual assessments by $350,000. And what that means is that if you approve the agreement, as we would recommend you do, they would receive a refund of about $14,800, and the city would be responsible for about $3,800 of that. The rest of that we would get refunded back to us from the other taxing entities, the county, the state, the technical college, and the local schools. So the recommendation would be to accept the settlement agreement.
I will move to approve the settlement agreement as proposed.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Abstentions? Okay, we have a settlement agreement approved. Item C, 11C, discussion possible action regarding the adoption of ordinance 840, ordinance to repeal and recreate section 2110 of the City of Delafield Municipal Code regarding membership of the Deer Management Committee. And I can introduce this. Deer Management Committee is unique. We in the fact that it's a lot more hands-on outdoors. It's like if you're asking someone to sit in a room on many of our committees and make decisions for DPW to do work, that's one thing. Deer Management Committee is making decisions, and then they often don't have to come here. They go and they're setting up lines, they're clearing brush, and it's been really difficult to get someone off of Park and Rec and Public Works and whoever, Promotional and Tourism, which the ordinance was initially set up to do, to look out for those interests. So we found it best to fully populate the committee and not wait for those vacancies to get filled, because you shouldn't compel someone on a committee they like to go on a committee that they might not want to be on. So I'm just looking for a motion to approve what's in the ordinance, and that just loosens up the the pool to virtually any, any citizen that wants to sign up can do it, and they'll still have the city will be still overseeing exactly what they're doing, so.
I move to approve ordinance 840 for the Deer Management Committee membership.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, we have a new ordinance 840. Item 11D, approval of the vouchers payable report for March 5th through March 17th and 2018.
I move to approve the voucher list.
Has it gone around?
Was there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Did we have
Abstentions?
it here, though? Sorry,
It's
real quick, did we have
It's
it?
approved. We don't have the hard copy here. We will
Okay.
have to bring that, circulate it next meeting.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can come into the office and sign it. You can wait 2 weeks. Report of city officials. Tom?
The one thing that I'll mention is just an update to the council that tomorrow we'll be having our next meeting of the Wisconsin Policy Forum and Lake Country Municipal Fire, Lake Country Fire and Rescue municipalities. And the mayor and I will be attending that, and we look forward to seeing what kind of progress we can make tomorrow.
All right, thanks. City clerk.
Okay, just an update on the spring election. It's going to be held on April 1st. The polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. We did mail the absentees last week on March 11th, and in-person absentee voting begins tomorrow, March 18th, through March 28th for 8:15 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. And then second, I did pass my SHRM CP certification to the spring.
Please explain that acronym.
Society of Human Resources and Management, and CP is Certified Professional.
Very good, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, city treasurer, look in the packet for the report, if there's one. Council requests for future agenda items. Okay, correspondence is in the packet. Seeing no further business, the meeting is now adjourned at 7:56 p.m. Thank you.